Welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. It's your host, Matt Heath. How you doing, folks? What's new? How's life? Let me tell you, um, life's kind of crazy for me right now, man. Um, the one good thing is I didn't watch SNL last night, but I did watch clips from it this morning. I watched Chris Rock's monologue, and I watched the um, the cold open with Jim Carrey and Alec Baldwin. Both I thought were really funny. Actually, it was refreshing to see a like a real Saturday Night Live during the pandemic. Now it finally feels like life is getting back to the way it should be. But at the same time, I read this Q&A in the newspaper the other day where Lorne Michaels was talking about how Saturday Night Live is today, and it actually got me riled up. Where it was, he was getting asked questions, and he was responding in a way where he was like, "Well, the Rosanna Dana characters and the samurai delicatessen things would not work today." Where it's like, dude, why are you friggin' apologizing? Like, to feel the need where you need to apologize for the stuff that made your career, Lorne, the Samurai Delicatessen, Rosanna Dana, those were like characters that defined Saturday Night Live. And now all of a sudden you're backtracking, covering your tracks. It's no wonder why you really are Doctor Evil, man. Like, seriously, it's do you know why those characters aren't working today? It's because you're the one that holds the keys, bro. Like, those characters aren't working today because you say they don't work today. People aren't allowed to do characters like that because you're the boss. Um, it's any advertiser can back out or say whatever they want when it comes to somebody doing a character on Saturday Night Live. But the fact is, the people on Netflix and Hulu, HBO, they are doing and saying whatever they want. It's network television that's trash now. People on the internet can say whatever the fuck they want. Like, if I wanted to go and do a sketch on YouTube tomorrow where I make my own samurai delicatessen where the characters are eating fucking bats, I could go ahead and do that if I wanted to. You know, and it would be relevant because I'd be making fun of the coronavirus and have my Belushi character too. To say that you can't have those characters anymore, it's like those characters are what made your show what it is. You used to be an edgy, cool show. Now you're vanilla ice cream. But I say that with a little venom because maybe it's because I've been hacking away in nightclubs for the past decade, while Chris Rock is saying in his monologue that there should be term limits in the government. Well, you know something? Maybe there should be term limits on Saturday Night Live. You've had the same fucking people on that show for decades. You have Chris Rock hosting. You have Alec Baldwin. You have Jim Carrey. But where are the people searching for people in nightclubs? Where's the voice for the downtrodden? Where's the voice for the typical American person? With that being said, Jim Carrey's got a new book out I really like. I'm about halfway through it. There's a whole thing about him meeting Rodney Dangerfield in a virtual children's movie or whatever. It's awesome. Um, but it's like Lorne. I mean, you and Matt Groening, you should have dug in your heels when it came to your classic characters. You should be standing by that stuff. I mean, Carl on The Simpsons, he's been played by a white guy for the past 30 years, and he's a two-dimensional character. Not because he's a cartoon, but he's a two-dimensional character because you never see his house, you never see his significant other. He's just a side character. He did not need to be played by an African American. Or I mean, that's nothing against the dude from Becker. He's a great actor. I mean, let him play Carl if you want to. But at the same time, the fact that you felt the need to do it, you should have dug in your heels. You're gonna apologize for a joke, Matt Groening. You're gonna apologize for a joke, Lauren. Why don't you just come out and say that you're racist? Say that you're passive racists, and just get it over with. Because it's bullshit. It's really bullshit that the people on network television feel like they need to apologize for shit, while people on the internet are just doing whatever the fuck they want. It's okay, Lord. It's okay, really. Did I just blow my chances of ever getting hired on SNL? I feel like I got some good stuff. I really do. I maybe I'm just got my panties in a knot because I'm going to a funeral today. A friend of mine, Matt Staub, great guy, guy from my hometown. He died of complications from a brain injury, and you know, I won't get into detail of it, but it was actually another friend of mine and him that got into a fight a few years back. It was in the wintertime. Matt was slipped in an icy parking lot, hit his head, and he's had complications with that from that head injury for years, and he was a big fan of my comedy. Any YouTube video I ever post, he always commented on it. He always was there to say something when I would come back around my hometown, and he was a big fan of mine, and I was a big fan of his. He was a musician. He was an intelligent guy, and he did not deserve to die young like that. And my heart goes out to his family. I'll be at the funeral today. I'm going. So, with that being said, I do have I do want to play a little commercial before we get in. Today, Shaquana Cochran's on the show, by the way, today. I don't know if I mentioned that yet already, but I have a great interview I'm doing with Shaquana Cochran. But before that, I just want you to listen to this.
Hi, this is Ernie Hudson, Winston Zedmore from Ghostbusters. First, I want to give a big shout out to John James and just wish you, John, for a really speedy recovery. I know you're going through a challenging time. Cancer is pretty frightening. I know I've been through 2 bouts of it myself, but just know that, as we say in Ghostbusters, the skies haven't fallen, the seas didn't boil. It's not Judgment Day, and this too shall pass. So I'm just wishing you and hoping, like I said, the absolute best. Me and all the other Ghostbusters all over the world, we're all pulling for you. But I also, for everyone else, I want you guys to check out Bust Out the Cancer Comedy Show. And these are comic stresses, Ghostbusters, hosted by Matt Heath. This is on Thursday, October 29th, 8 p.m., Stand Up Underground Elbow Room in West Hartford. Tickets are $25, and all the proceeds are going to John's chemo. And also go to gofundme.com/John's-cancer-story. You guys check it out. It's for a great cause, a really, really special person. So you guys just, everybody stay up, stay strong, stay healthy, and as we say in Ghostbusters, keep on busting. Thank you.
All right, maybe I should have given you a little background on that first. John James, who Ernie Hudson's talking about in that little ad that I had him do, which was thank you so much, Ernie Hudson, for doing that. By the way, we're doing a cancer benefit show for him at the Comedy Underground, as Ernie said, in West Hartford, and he's having a rough go of it. So I just I wanted to do a show for him, give back as much as possible. If you don't know who John James is, he was on the show before, so check out his episode of the podcast. And before we get into the show here, just a little word from our sponsor. You've probably heard a lot about cannabidiol or CBD, but have you heard about the plant science company taking the lead in providing the highest quality CBD nationwide? At your CBD store Simsbury, you will find a fantastic staff that creates a comfortable environment where you can get your questions answered and find the right products to get the relief you need. They will be your number one source for providing quality education about products for you and your pet. They offer a full line of edibles, creams, USDA certified oils, and more, all developed under the guidance of the PhD analytical chemists and health leaders across the industry. And to back up their story, they also provide extensive third-party testing to ensure that what's listed on the products is actually what's in the products. So check out CBD store Simsbury. I think there's another part of that ad I have to read. And there is. They are located at 1243 Hot Meadow Street in Simsbury and open 7 days a week. Give them a call at 860-217-1433 or visit their website, ycbdsimsbury.com, or stop in for free samples and the highest quality products you can find. Your CBD store Simsbury, where good health hits home. All right, folks. Please enjoy this great interview I had with the very funny Shaquana Cochran. Okay, welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. This is your host, Matt Heath, and I am sitting here today with a very special guest of mine, Shaquana Cochran. Did I pronounce your last name right? I don't think I've ever said your last name out loud. So it's Cochran.
Yep, Cochran.
I don't know. I was afraid. I was afraid to say it out loud.
Why?
I don't know, because it's got cock in there. You know.
Well, I've been picked on.
I was going to ask you. Did you have a tough time with a last name like that in high school?
Yeah, in all levels of school. Yes. Either it was as kids you say cockroach. So it was in elementary, it's cockroach. Then
Wow, that's mean.
And then how when you get to middle school, that's when you kind of like coming into yourself a little bit. So then it turned to cock. Yeah.
Okay, so just they got less creative with it.
It was more vulgar.
When the boys went through puberty, they actually got less creative with it.
Yes.
They just went with I don't know, because I just had to ask if you had a tough time. Because it's like boys are just so they're just such animals in high school. You know what I mean?
Y'all are savages. Yes.
Like I was filling in as a shop teacher today, and I honestly started to think that I missed my calling in life. Because I was a English like literature major, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like I would read things like Metamorphosis or The Stranger, mm-hmm. and you just start learning about all that like existentialism and all that. That's like you start wrapping your mind around these huge concepts, mm-hmm. which when you're teaching shop class, mm-hmm. you don't have time to think about things like existentialism because kids are too busy using sharp objects. So you have to live in the moment as a shop teacher, Well, the smell of the sawdust, Feel like Tim Allen in there,
I think it's two types of shop teachers. You got that one that's you, right? If you were the shop teacher, you were to be a good shop teacher because you cared about the kid. Then you got the kind of I had. He didn't care if we had sharp objects and stuff. Like kids used to hit each other with it. Yeah. He used to just sit there like he just gave his life up. Like he just sit there like new batch.
Well, I'm sure after years of being a shop teacher, you kind of just you get sick of telling the kids to stop screwing around every day. Like you're just like, all right, You know, if they're gonna, stab each other with the, the files, like, whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, basically.
I think,
I think if I was a shop teacher, I would enjoy being one. Because I would actually have the kids creating things. Like, we didn't create anything in my shop class. Nothing. I had this teacher, he literally, you could just see that. He looked like he lived with his mom still. Like, like his life just, like he just didn't, like he just gave up on life. And so he gave up on us. Like, he knew we just needed an A just to get to the next level in his class. So he just gave us an A.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was no effort in that class.
And you guys just kind of sat around, huh?
Yeah.
I was worried that like shop wouldn't be shop anymore when I was when I went in there because I was like, I wonder if they're just all doing like assignments on a computer right now, like doing like a computer generated like bookshelf they got to make or something.
Do you
like,
know what we made in the shop?
What?
We had wood planks that we had to use these little carvers to. We went on Google. Like, it was the most dumbest assignment in the world. Like, I'm like, even thinking about it now, I'm like, why did this man still have a job? Like, what is the point of shop? I don't get the point of shop. I could live without it.
Yeah.
I really could. But yeah, we just made like a little plaque. You just had like a piece of wood that you get from Lowe's or somewhere, and he said, find a picture that you like, and we're going to carve on it.
Yeah.
Okay. This all we about to do.
Yeah, but maybe like he was ambitious like when he was like first started,
You can tell there probably was something. But I think he was there for a long time. I think he was there for some years because I believe some of our parents had him, or he had just came in when our parents was leaving out because
I can imagine a shop teacher would be like spending his own money on wood and stuff like that in the beginning, and then it's like
whatever you get is what you get.
And the kids are just like breaking the wood and shit, and I don't know. Just the idea of using computers in shop class just made me think Jesus must be spinning in his cave. You know what I mean? Because he was a carpenter and all.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly, right? I didn't even think about that. I'm like, where's Matt going with this? Then I thought about it. Like, oh yeah, that's true though, honey. What if I wanted to be a carpenter, right? And you just messed up my whole little dream, Mr. Lee. Honey.
But you grew up in Hartford, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Brothers and sisters?
Yes, I'm the oldest of 8 on my mom's side, and I'm like the 4th youngest. I don't know. My dad got a lot of kids, so from what I know, I'm like the 4th. I'm the middle kid, basically.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm like the 3rd last kid. Amen. So I'm like towards the middle, towards the end, whatever. I don't know how many kids my dad got. So don't.
So don't ask.
Yeah, don't ask. That's a mystery right there. That is crazy. From what I know, is like 9 of us on my dad's side.
Is it a back in the home island or something type situation?
Yeah. So my dad is Jamaican. He's from Santa Cruz.
Okay.
So he's from the islands. Majority of my siblings, it's probably the majority that I know of is here. Then there's a few over in Jamaica, and he just revealed to me, oh, you might have another sister, and she's in her 40s. I'm like, come on, dude, like, you just didn't try. You just didn't try to keep it in your pants. You just threw it out there. Whoever took it, huh? Like, that's just nasty. Like, so.
It's not even about that. It's just there's also protection,
Exactly.
It's not like they didn't have protection back then.
I don't know. He was a nasty to me. I'm putting him in the nasty category. I was nasty.
Oh my God! So I don't know. When did you decide you wanted to become a comedian?
So going back to like when I decided to become a comedian about like 5 6 years ago. I just like set to give it a try, but literally I could see the development of Quana the comedian from when I was a kid, because I've always been like the funny one. I got class clown in high school.
Right.
So people that tend to have that kind of like background of like being the funny one, always in not in crowd, but like the one that's like I fit in with everybody. So I sat with everybody. I sat with the pop kids, sat with the ones who wasn't popular. So I just got along with everybody. I just was like my own self, but my funniness always been there. But one day, did you know if anybody believe in this? But because I'm saved, so I had got up and got in the line for prayer. And one of the things my pastor said to me, she was like, "You're a comedian," and I'm like, I really wasn't thinking about. I thought she was talking about like you're funny, like you know what I'm saying. But in the sense of like, it's like it dawned on me in that moment to like, maybe you are a comedian, like you know what I'm saying. Like I heard like you're funny, but then when I sat and thought about it, it was like, give comedy a try. And I gave it a try, and it actually works for me. Like I seen that it was actually something pretty easy to kind of transition into. It wasn't really like forced.
Right. So that was the deciding moment when your pastor told you should be,
because I mean I've always like I said, I have the aspects, my characteristics and personality always kept me in the like in the middle, like where people watched me and I always entertained, right? But I always watched comedy specials and stuff as growing up, little young kid, like 6 years old, watching Def Comedy Jam. I don't know why my mom let me watch it, but she let me watch it. But I will watch comic view and stuff like that all my life. I always loved to laugh. I always loved that. But I never really thought like, I could give it a try until that moment where she said it. But it's like she wasn't telling me like, you're funny, like talking to my personality. She was like, it was like she trying to say, give it a try. Like the back end was give it a try. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like my decided moment when I sat back later on that day that I heard that and really like was like, we're going to give it a try. And like a couple weeks later, I had presented my first ever set, and it was like a big hit.
And where was that?
At the church. Ain't that something?
Wow.
Right? So I never, because I'm sitting there like, because one of the things before I actually decided to try it, it was like the conflict between religion and what I knew comedy was to be, right?
Right.
So
Was your jokes all about religion, or? And
that's the thing. So I'm thinking like, how can I be fun? I didn't think of funny comedians in the church, like,
Right.
And even when I did start to look up people that did, I'm like, their style and my style not the same. Like I didn't know.
Clearly, you and Pete Holmes are very different comedians.
Yeah, I mean everybody. Everybody is like their own kind of comedian, but it's just like me watching the ones that I watched. I watched black ones, I watched white ones, I watched Spanish saved comics. Everybody had their own style, and I'm just like, how am I going to fit in here? I was looking at the church as my only way because that's where I got the thing, right?
Right.
But then I'm like, is this? So I realized like the jokes that I did, they were for everywhere, and then I had to really like not limit myself to one place. So I did kind of start off in the church. That's why a lot of people don't really, a lot of comics when they meet me now, they're like, where were you at? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when I say 5 years or 6 years or whatever of me really like pressing trying to do it, they say, where were you? And I'm like, well, at that moment when I first started, the church was my main like thing, but I had to really like come into myself and say, you don't have to just confine yourself to one place because you can use your talents on other stages. And I jumped out on faith to try my clean jokes because I felt like what I watched was vulgar, like people who use vulgar languages and stuff like that. And I'm like, I want to keep a standard too, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how do I keep this standard yet still give jokes that people that think that if you cuss is even more funny, which I do think that a cuss word does make a joke funnier, but I really had to learn how to make it funny without being that type of way that I grew up watching. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of works for me now because I kind of like, I haven't mastered it, but I do know how to make it work for me. So I don't have to cuss to make someone laugh, or I don't have to compromise my belief system to like, you know what I'm saying, provide the joke and give the entertainment,
Yeah, I totally hear you. I feel like for me it was the opposite. Like when I first started like recording myself, like I realized like the F word was like every other word in my mouth, and it was like really it's not adding to the comedy at all. It's just like slowing my act down, really. You know what I mean? It's kind of like me trying to organize my thoughts and using the F word or whatever swear I was saying
as a void filler.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So it's like it actually like it lessens the blow, or it actually it's like swears are much more funnier if you like save them, like you keep them in like your
It's part of
comedy
your joke.
toolbox, or however you think of it.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I get exactly what you're saying because I feel like the same way. I've heard people, famous comics who use vulgar language, like as a void filler, right? And you just sitting there like, okay, like me personally, I'm the type of person. I'm like, okay, I can see that you're trying to get your thoughts together. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can see that you're trying to figure out how you're gonna go into your next joke. So it's like, let me get this thought real quick, but let me use this to like kind of avenue me into that. But then you have the ones like you said that use that as part of their set. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Bernie Mac is one. He's known for the MF word, right?
Yeah.
But he has a joke that literally is so funny when you hear it because that's the core of the joke, the MF word. Even though he uses it as probably a void filler sometimes, right? But he has actually a joke that I can say I heard. It's pretty funny to me.
Now Bernie Mac is like somebody who I always looked up to, like especially as like a kid, like growing up, watching his sitcom and everything. I just thought he was so damn funny, and I think he was the only like comedian of like the '90s, early 2000s, like that still could hold on to that mentality of like, I'm gonna beat my kids and it's gonna come out funny. It's not like people aren't gonna be offended by that because it comes out of a place of honesty and it comes out of a place of you know of it's
like genuine.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of people go wrong with their jokes. You can tell who's trying to like just make a joke, right? But yet they didn't live their joke. You know what I'm saying? You just made a joke though. It's easy to write those jokes. But with me, I try to do that. I try to be as truthful as I can with my jokes because sometimes I feel like you do have to exaggerate your joke just a little bit to get to where you wanted to get to. But you just have some people who like don't live their actual joke, so you can tell. Like that's why you said he can be like if he was alive today, he could get on the stage today because people are so sensitive today. He could get on stage today and say, "Beat your kids." You know what I'm saying? And then people are going to be like, they're going to laugh because what he's saying is true. Like it's not. It's like he actually like has some weight behind it instead of somebody who don't have kids, who never experienced whooping a child or ever experienced a child being bad or something, and get up there like, beat your kids. And he like, okay, why? And it's like, beat your kid because they put a shoe on the floor and it's like, like, somebody who would think that joke was funny, but the majority of people who with kids who like, that's the dumbest reason to beat your kid. Like, like, you're going to get either, ha, 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 I'm with you, yes, beat them for that, or ha, ha, ha. Like, that really wasn't funny. Like, so I guess it's all about really being true to yourself, too.
Yeah. Like, who do you think you looked up to the most growing up as a comedian?
Bernie Mac was one, definitely.
Totally.
Bernie Mac, he was like probably like the top one because he was just funny to me. I don't know. And this is as a kid watching. I love Ricky Smiley. I have a lot of black comedians. I have a few white ones. Let me see. I actually like Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh yeah.
When I was little, I used to really find myself laughing at his blunt jokes, but then I didn't know. I didn't really get why, but because I feel like he comes off like, to me, like he's not like, hey, bam, bam, bam. Like he's like, hey, let me tell you, like, like he's real chill with it. To me, that's how he come off. And I'm like, okay, so what? But I realize I have a chill side, like, and it's like, I'm very sarcastic. So yeah. The sarcastic comics, I'm definitely with them. Like, so.
I was actually just talking to somebody about Seinfeld today, and I brought up, like, I was talking to Denver Sproul about Seinfeld, and he told me he never watched the sitcom Seinfeld once.
I loved it.
And I was kind of surprised by that. And Mega Harrison, another comic, was sitting right by me, and she said to me, he's in his early 20s, like they don't watch Seinfeld, like they don't even have cell phones on that show, and it's like, What I was thinking, it's like I feel like the comedy in that show is always relevant, though. It's like, even though it was made in the '80s, I feel like a lot of the situational stuff is very true to today.
But I don't think I think certain, like you said, certain things, like you think the comedy in it is it's timeless basically.
Right.
Because but that's what makes it funny. So even if you was to watch it today, that's just like The Office. The comedy is timeless. Like Office came out a couple years ago. But if you watch it, you're gonna laugh because it's like it's
Right.
hilarious. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's just I think it's all about your.
Well, The Office isn't that old yet.
It ain't that old, but it's old. Like you know what I'm saying? Kids now they be like, if you were trying to get a teenager now to watch it, they're not gonna watch it. Like you know what I'm saying? Depending on what they think is funny, it all depends on where you are, kind of like in yourself. If you type person that are at a place where you know your past can, you know what I'm saying, it correlates with your future too and your present. I think timeless people and places and things you more connected with. You know what I'm saying?
You seem like to me like you're relevant though. You stay very relevant. Like you are into what the kids are into. No? Yeah.
I do. I me personally though, I do try to stay like upbeat with things, but it's not on purpose. It's just like that's just how I am. Like I feel like I just have to like be right there because I don't want to fall back too much, you know.
Right.
So it's like I feel like you always gotta like I don't do everything they do. Like TikTok, I do it. Like you know what I'm saying. Like when it's certain trends or things that I try to, but if it looks like nonsense, I'm not doing it. Like you know.
Right.
So, but as far as how I go with life period, I try to just stay connected as much as I can because I don't want to be that old person when phones are now holograms from your wrists and because you got it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the person like, how do you turn it on? Like I don't want to be that old person. I can't stand old people with new phones and they don't know how to use it. Like, what's the point of you getting? Just give it to. I guess to the flip.
Well, you know something I wrote on Facebook today about smartwatches is it's like, why would I want to get a smartwatch so I could look at the world's death clock every day?
I'm done. I'm done. I don't have a smartwatch. This is enough.
Yeah.
This is enough. I can.
It's a self. I feel like it's not only is it enough, it's too much, really.
It is.
You know.
It is. But you do need it. This is enough for me to stay up to beat with what's going on. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, I found especially when I wasn't working, like, during this pandemic, it's like, people, like, read, typically like to read before they fall asleep. Mm-hmm. And it's like, with social media, it's like a never-ending fucking spiral of bullshit.
And you steady go, and then you refresh and you read it all over again.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would honestly think we were living in a total dystopia if it wasn't for like memes of baby Yoda drinking coffee and eating chicken tendies and stuff.
What? Oh my God, Joe. I don't know. I don't know. I guess what you're saying is kind of true. I feel the same way. I don't even really be on social media like that anymore. I don't know why. I think it's because I don't know. I feel like I'm just transitioning into this different place in my life. Like, I'm just trying to.
Really? What do you mean by that?
Like, I'm just like 5 years ago, Quana would have been up on everything. Every challenge that would have came out on social media, I would have tried it.
Right? Like the ice bucket challenge. Did you do that?
I would have. No, I didn't try ice bucket. I didn't do that. I've always been wise enough not to try the foolish, stupid looking things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, and you're not going to hurt yourself doing the ice bucket challenge.
Yes, you can. You don't know that. They was doing stupid stuff at the time. I would watch them and laugh because they would make me laugh. But as far as me wanting to try it for me, like I probably did it to somebody else.
I mean, you could really hurt yourself doing. Remember that challenge they were doing, where people would get out of the car and dance around the car?
Yes. I never tried that.
You didn't try that.
No. This is the challenges that I tried. Or if it wasn't not even really challenges. Trends that I wrote. Because I didn't really do challenges because I felt like challenges was just dumb. Like, I feel like I'm not going to hurt myself or do something dumb to make you laugh. I'm going to, like, that's not me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have the fool, right? And then you have the comic. You have the person that literally is going to try, like, I look at Jackass, right?
Right.
I look at them as y'all funny, but y'all doing stupid stuff to get me to laugh. Right. Because you can kill yourself with the things you're trying to do to entertain me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for making me laugh, but I would prefer you not to do it because that snake could bite you and you can die. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you have different kinds. You have, like, I feel like there's a good and bad side to it.
Don't you feel it's I feel like the difference between like the millennials and where we're at with Generation Z, the younger generation now. We millennials, we had Jackass growing up. Now they have the impractical jokers. You know, it's like that's what they have, which is a much more tame, like liberal version of Jackass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But if you look at it, right? So we had Jackass, right? But we didn't need to try things. We had them to do stupid stuff for us to make us laugh, right? There wasn't really a lot of people doing things that Jackass did.
Right.
That was them. That's why you could watch their show right now.
But people did try the things they did on Jackass. It would make the news. You remember? Yeah, it would always make the news.
It will make the news. Now we have social media, right?
Right.
So it's going to go on social media, but they have impractical jokers who not doing foolish stuff. Yeah, you're going to always have somebody who's trying to copy something that you're doing to, but Jackass, they had their platform. We just seen you on the news. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying there. Is that if people were doing the same things that they're doing back in the day on Jackass, it's really just stupid shit you're seeing on the internet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's the stuff that's being made fun of. That's why like Tosh.0 and ridiculousness are a thing now. It's like people are doing the really stupid shit for free.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like people actually, we know the people, Jackass people, they got endorsements, all that stuff. We're not gonna try because I'm not gonna kill them. They're getting paid to get bitten by a viper. Like you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm not about to try to go get a viper to die for free. Now it's like people use their ridiculousness, right? Or their ridiculous moments to try to get to a place where they can start getting paid. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's what it is. I feel like we were more like, don't follow what we do in the sense of, the foolishness, but you can do what we do and get some money like us if you want to, but you're going to really end up on the news. Like you're not really going to be as relevant as we are because nobody's really going to be watching. But now it's like, because there's so many platforms that you can be looked at and you can be projected quickly. Like you could literally just you could fall off right now off your chair, Matt, and I could post it. And if somebody thought it was funny, as long as one top person get it and share you, you're lit. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's easy now to get that platform that you're looking for. Before it wasn't easy to get it because we had people holding down the spot. So I feel like that's where you get a lot of comedians who are like. I feel like this is the good time now for comedians like us to like project out.
That's true. It's almost better to be a comedian now in this like impractical joker era rather than the Jackass era, because I feel like if I was doing stand-up comedy when the Jackass guys were famous, it's like well, look at what I'm doing, working so hard to write these jokes while these guys are just famous for doing stupid shit. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I think at least like a little more thought goes into like what they do on a show like Impractical Jokers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get exactly what you're saying. It's funny, like I was having a conversation kind of like this a couple days ago, and I was saying like, I was looking at literally, we were talking about going back like Bernie Mac, African American comedians or whatever, and I was saying like, it's not really a lot to me. It's not really a lot of African American comedians up on the top platform. You have now it's sporadic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know Kevin Hart. Everybody know Kevin Hart. Like, you know what I'm saying? Before it was literally a flush load of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you literally you could name more than 10 people quickly. Like, now it's like we just do Tiffany Haddish, on a top platform.
Right.
And now it's like everybody, I feel like even in the other, like the the white comedians, I feel like there's a lot of people stuck right here. Like, but the top is only for certain people. Like, you know what I'm saying? But everybody's like in the middle. And I think all the funny people are right at the cusp. But it's like, you just got to wait for that one spot to be knocked off to get up there. Like, it's so many people like waiting for that top spot. And it's kind of like suck.
But even Kevin Hart, it took years and years and years for him to get to where he was at. Mm-hmm. I mean, even he was even in like starring in major motion pictures, and he still wasn't like looked at like he was a great stand-up.
Exactly.
Because like I remember even when he was like in like he was in the third Scary Movie, for instance. He was
in Paper Soldier.
He was in Soul Plane. You know, and I think it wasn't until years later that like he kind of became like this great stand-up.
And I think it's because it goes back into like how things have shifted. Like before, it was the platform is like you have your entertainers, right? I feel like now it's like everybody either dying or the greats are dying or they're just like retiring. And it's like the spots are like just, it's like I feel like once they spot leave because they were so great at what they did, they left big shoes to fill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It didn't not like they left little shoes. Like if you want to go to the level that they were at, you have to really be like on your A game, on your grind. And I feel like that's why Kevin Hart is who he is right now, because he did do the little movies that people probably like, I'm not about to do this little movie, but he did do it. Like, you know, and now we say, oh, Kevin Hart now, but we could look back 10 plus years ago and be like, he was in that movie, he was doing this, he was doing that. Like, you know, so
right.
I think it's all about like,
I think you
got the determination to actually want to fill the shoes that.
I think what you're saying with big shoes to fill, that's exactly why I put the albums up on my wall the way I did. I got Lenny Bruce, Steve Martin, and my own album up there. And I just know I'll never be good as either Lenny Bruce or Steve Martin.
How do you know?
For one thing, Steve, I'll never be able to play the banjo. That's one thing.
Okay, that was his thing.
And Lenny Bruce was just he just died a legend, man. Like,
but that don't mean you can't die.
And that's his Carnegie Hall concert up there. I mean, I hope to sell out Carnegie Hall one day, but you know, will it ever happen? You know.
And then, so now we can look at it like this. Boom, right? Those are your big shoes that you like. I don't think I ever can fill those big shoes. Those are their big shoes, but they probably had somebody that they thought they would never fill theirs, but they died in their own lane. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about being in your own lane. You can die. Matt can be the best.
Yes and no, though, because back then, stand-up comedy wasn't really even a thing. It's like those were the guys that kind of, like, those were the guys.
Set the tone.
Yeah, they were the ones that created the path, you know? Like, I mean, I suppose there was people they looked up to, like, I don't know. I mean, I suppose you could say, like, Mark Twain was the first real stand-up comedian, but even then, like, he was more of a humorist. I don't know.
I just think it's all about what you kind of, like, what you put in you to be great. Like, what do you consider greatness? Like, they are the forerunners. Boom. You cannot knock a forerunner off because they put the tracks in the snow. You know what I'm trying to say? But you can walk to where you can't walk. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it is. Like, they put the tracks in the snow. Other people went behind them and made the path even clearer, right? Because they kept walking in the path. But just because you don't get to Steve Martin level don't mean that you're not great, because you still walked that path, even though you just stopped at what level of greatness you were destined to stop at. You know what I'm saying? So you can still, Matt Heath, you're up on top with them, you're on the side of them, but they are your forefathers.
I like the juxtaposition though too. It's like they're two very different people. I mean, Steve Martin is a sober comic, while Lenny Bruce was a heroin addict. You know, like died on the floor of his bathroom. So, whose shoes am I going to fill?
And whose shoes exactly. So it's like, you don't know what Steve Martin, he probably had his own little downfall moments too, but he didn't choose to stay in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He chose to rock out life, like with a boom, with being his greater looking self, what we could see as his greater self. You know what I'm saying? But we can see Lenny Bruce as his greater self, but he wasn't all the way great because he didn't deal with certain things. So it's like, it's all about you just coming into you, being the best you can be, and when you are in your grave, people can say this was the best they were. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you chose that, you know? So you can choose to be Lenny Bruce, you can choose to be Steve Martin, you can choose to show people okay, hey, look, I did fall a couple times, blah, 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 whatever, but I'm dying as my great self where you could, I chose to fall in this area and I stayed down in
Whose
this
shoes do
area.
you think you're looking to fill?
I want to feel Quana's shoes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily want to fill either of those guys'
Yeah, no,
shoes.
I don't want to feel no. That's the thing.
I kind of want to create my own path.
Exactly. So that's why I say I feel like I'm coming into a different me, like a better me, where I'm grateful and I am giving thanks to those who came before me, but their shoes is not what I'm trying to fill because I don't want to be like them. I want to be myself. I want when I die, I want people to say Quana. This was Quana. Like there wasn't Quana was trying to. Yeah, you're gonna hear Quana say, "Oh, this person inspired me," but that's not who I wanted to be. They. I took a nugget from them and I used it to make my own path. Like you know what I'm saying? I used it to give my own name, and that's basically where I'm at. That's me just trying to get to that place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a lot of people don't really see me like. I don't really hit every stage that opens itself up because I just if I don't feel like that's a stage that I need to hit, I'm not gonna hit. Like a lot of people, I see a lot of comedians. They run and they have their own vision. My vision is to be great the best way I can be and doing it strategically. Like you know what I'm saying? I don't have to hit every stage that pops up. I can come show love, but I don't have to sit there. Like you know what I'm saying? So I'll come show you love, but I'm not going to. You're probably not going to see this. Me personally, I'm not just going to come on. I have other stuff to do. So I'm not just trying to be like popping in comedy. There's other things that I want to like incorporate to my name too. You know?
Well, what else? What else do you want to incorporate and make you great?
I love to cook, so I want to open me up a food truck soon and just go down as like cheesecake queen. Like I'm trying to be the cheesecake boss.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the cheesecake queen.
Cheesecake queen. Like there's so many things. Like
now, what if you had your own cooking show? That way, you could be a comedian.
Matt, mind your business, Matt. Mind your business, Matt. Honey, it's coming. It's coming, Matt. And it's crazy because I'm incorporating. Like I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate all my gifts into one thing. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because I really want whatever I do. I think that's what it is. I want whatever I do to explode because I want you to see all aspects of me. You don't just see Quana doing comedy and now, but you're gonna like. So you said cooking show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to do a cooking show. There's so many things that I want to do, but cooking show. Let's talk about cooking show. I want to start a cooking show, but I want it to be like. You're going to know that I'm saved doing it. You're going to know that I do comedy because I'm going to be throwing laughing all the time. I'm always going to promote shows or whatever. If people want me to promote these shows and stuff like that. And I'm going to show you
listen here, PBS. we have a woman that wants to do a religious comedy cooking show. I think
take like, the religious part out because people be like, it's religious. Nut. We don't want to do it. No, I just want to show.
Could the cheesecake be in the shape of a Jesus fish?
I don't even know how Jesus fish look, honey. I don't know how that looks. No, it's not going to be shape of a cross or anything. No, yeah. I'm just going to spew knowledge. I'm going to spew wisdom on people, like Bible based. You ain't going to really. You're just going to get who I am, and I feel like it's so many components of me that I just want to share with people. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just be looked at like as one thing. I want you to see me as a well-rounded individual. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Thank you, Matt, because you helped me get the answer to the question that when people ask me.
It's doing everything in my power not to make a joke about
make a joke, Matt.
A bigger girl being a well-rounded
Matt?
Individual.
Is that right? Yes, I am plus size, honey. Plus size is the best size. If you ain't got a fat girl, get you a big girl right now because it's getting cold. And that little toothpick will not help you. Do you understand? We got fat back rolls that you can stick your fingers under and it feel like you under just God himself.
All right, well, don't try to turn me on now.
I'm done, man. I am so done.
It's like now that you brought up that I quoted Seinfeld yesterday on my Facebook page. There was something he said in an episode I was watching the other day. I don't think I've seen every episode of Seinfeld I think 3 times, and I don't think I ever noticed him say this line. Where Kramer is talking about one of their neighbors is becoming a minimalist and he's getting rid of all his stuff and he got his video camera and everything and he goes he dates fat girls and he goes and Jerry goes Don't you think his fetish for fat women conflicts with him being a minimalist? And I just thought that was the funniest damn line.
That is actually, that really is. That's grimy, but it's funny. It is actually really funny. That if I would have got that watching it at that moment, I probably would have been like if I watch it now, I know I would laugh at it. Just because you just brought it up, now you make me want to go watch it just to hear it, like, you know.
Well, I think that's why Seinfeld, the show Seinfeld, is so great because you could watch, an episode 2 or 3 times. You take a joke away from it, like a different joke away from it every time, you know.
And I think it again because that joke would have went over my head years ago.
Right.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
But now that I feel like more like in tune with myself on a different level and stuff like that, and just
especially after you've become a comedian and you're writing your own jokes, it's like sometimes a play on words will get you like so good, like oh damn, like that is funny.
Yes,
like,
and that's why I honestly I really try to like be not biased when I watch different comics and different comic styles. You know what I'm saying? Because you have certain people who like doing certain rooms. I don't mind any room because I find a joke. I laugh at the littlest things.
Right.
Literally. It looks small, but it really packed power. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody could say something so dumb, and I'll just be sitting there dying laughing. And I'll look around, and people, like, you have different rooms, right? You have people who, I like to do black rooms, because black people, I look at it like this. I'm black. Don't make me, people say, don't say that, because that's not fair. And I'm like, I'm not saying we're dumb. I'm not saying that. It's just, we don't got time to try and think what you were trying to say. So just get to the point. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people are, get to the point, make me laugh. Like, then you have some people like, I am that person. Like, you can make me laugh when you get to the point, or you can make me laugh when you're trying to be funny. Like, the minimalist big girl joke. That would have had me dying. You know what I'm saying? Opposed to a friend of mine, she would have been like, what was so funny about that? And it's like, you don't get it. Minimalist, like, little bit, the girl big, and then it's like, he trying to minimize his life, but he got a fat girl. And it's like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, so it's all about way people like, you know what I'm saying? So I like everybody.
So I also think sometimes explaining a joke can be equally as funny as a joke itself.
Yeah, me personally, I don't, certain jokes I don't like to explain. If you ain't get it, you just didn't get it. Because I'm not about to try to explain it to you. Because I can tell what kind of person you are. Because if you're the type of person that's like still not going to get it even after I'm not going to explain it to you. Because I've been there, I tried to explain it and still got like, I still don't get it. I'm like, hey, man. So whenever I get another one, I'm not going to try to explain it to you. And opposed to the other person that's like, oh, that was funny. And it's like, yeah, that was. Like, you know?
I don't know. Let's let the audience, like when I said earlier when we were talking about Jesus spinning in his cave, and I said because Jesus is a carpenter, what's the funnier
what was funny
line
to me?
There? Yeah.
When I didn't get the cave part, right? But then I got it after because it really like had went over my head real quick. Then I was like, okay, because you said
so it wasn't me explaining it; it was just you thinking about it.
It was me thinking about it. Yeah, so I didn't think about the stone being like moved from the tomb, right? That's what you're talking about, right?
Right.
The tomb, him spinning in his tomb, right? So you said cave. I'm used to hearing the word tomb.
Great. Well, the expression "spinning in your grave" is, but it wouldn't be his grave; it would be his cave because Jesus was buried in a cave.
Yeah, and also. He was buried, but it say tomb too. Like it depends on how you read. So me, I read they moved back the stone. When I hear that word being preached, they moved back the stone from the tomb of Jesus. Like so, if you would have said that joke, I would have got the joke after. But if you would have said tomb, I would have right there. You would have.
Well, now you're explaining it, the joke, and it's funnier than everything I fucking said.
But that's what I'm saying. So you just did a good joke, right? So you just had a good joke, right? So somebody who was like got exactly what you meant by cave and automatically tomb. Was the synonym in their brain when they was thinking about that one part of the joke. They're going to laugh at that. But now it's like when you go to people that get to the point of the joke, right? Because that basically was it. I wasn't thinking at the moment when you said it. So now I'm at this basic point of myself. So stay tuned next time. And it would have got me. Like, so the people who are like, get to the point, the tomb would have killed them. So you just got to know how to
But cave rhymes with grave. So.
Yeah, but we don't need the rhyme. When you doing jokes, you don't always need a rhyme. You ain't rapping, you know?
I don't know. I haven't done that joke on stage yet.
That's a good joke, though.
So I'm just gonna hold on to it.
No, when you go to, if you come back to
Seven Dreams.
Yes,
Are you forgetting the name of your own mic?
See, I got a thing where I say girl when I'm talking to guys, but yes, so Seven Dreams.
That's something you wrote on Facebook the other day.
Yes, because that's true. I always do. I'm so used to talking to women, so when I talk to men and I get in a deep conversation, I am that woman that says girl, because it's like I'm used to talking to women in a deep place, not men. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, if you come there, because it is, you know, the owner, she's safe. She's my, she the elder of my church.
Mm-hmm.
So she will be dying if you use that joke and you say tune. Because she not the person that's like, think about it. She to get to it. You know what I'm saying? Like she, in that moment of trying to laugh, she's the type of person like get to the point type person.
We shall see. I'm going to plug your show real quick. Mm-hmm. We will see next Wednesday at Seven Dreams.
Yes.
In Hartford on
15
Tower Street.
Tower Avenue.
Tower Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
On the corner of Tower and Main.
Yes, on the corner of Tower and Main. It opens. Doors open at 7, but you get there 7:30 and we want to have showtime by 8 o'clock. So open mic, you know. So yeah, that's basically it.
Well, let's talk about your mic a little bit and how it's evolved. Since I wasn't at the first one, was I?
I think you were. Actually.
Really?
I think you were. That's why, I think that's why everybody, she just was so, Matt, we got to get Matt a cake. I'm like, how you know Matt like cake? Just buy him a little cupcake. He going to appreciate the little cupcake, put a little candle in it. You know what I'm saying? And she did. And I said, and then he's a comedian, so just be the little cupcake and make him think like it's funny or something. You know, that's more funny. But she really appreciate, and I do too. I really do. I appreciate those who came to the first one and really been coming to majority all of them and just being faithful over it. You know, because it could be a little, I'm not going to lie, I've been a little discouraged. Because at first, it was like, oh, God, when is it going to break off? And, you know, but don't despise small things, right? So, it's just me
right.
You know?
And I feel like downtown, or that area of Hartford, can totally use some laughter right now. I've been reading in the newspaper about that basketball player that was murdered the other day.
Yeah.
My God, what did you think of that when you heard about that?
He's actually somebody that I know a lot of people that I know.
Really?
So, yeah, he's very known in Hartford, and he is I never got to meet him personally. I've seen him. I've been in the vicinity with him, but actually to talk to him, he was the guy. You know, he was the it man. But I really do feel sad because a life was cut short. You know. But I also feel sad because a life was also cut short. 2 lives are cut short. Even if you look at it like, you know, people like, oh, you know, they're mad at the killer, you know, but I feel sad for the killer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because just his mentor posted about how he'd been going through stuff. So that kind of made me feel bad. Because it's like if somebody would have just reached out to him earlier, this could have been avoided. But I feel like, you know.
Right.
The boy, he died in his own greatness. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just feel what really hurts, though, for me is that he didn't get a chance to pass down such good genes. And
you know what kind of bothers me about the way the media and the news, puts this stuff out there, is that the first time I read about it, I had to read about it, buried in the sports pages of the newspaper. I'm like, why isn't this national news already?
What, the young basketball player?
Yeah.
I'm national news. I know he did big things, right?
Right.
So I could see if they put it on the front page of Hartford currently,
right?
Connecticut,
which it was eventually, but
yeah. But if that's the first time they put, I personally I didn't know, and he was like I said, a lot of people that I know knew him. I was on Saturday after church. I had checked my phone. And all I'd seen on Facebook was people saying 2020 sucks, and people was posting sad emojis. I'm like, what is going on? And it seemed like my whole timeline literally was sad. So I'm like, let me try and see who's going to show me what's going on. So then I finally saw Rest in Peace JQ. And I'm like, I know that name. And I'm like, this not the little young boy with the dreads. And I looked and I found his page and it was him. And I was like, wow. And it really made me feel some type of way. It was just sad. And then the next day, the other guy the killer turned himself in, and then me, I'm very I try to be as fair as possible, judging things and stuff like that. Like, you can be mad, you know what I'm saying, and like, he should have never did it, but I really felt for both of them. I really felt for both of them. I felt for both of their families. You know, one didn't have a family. Like, one literally was basically the person you overlook. You know what I'm saying? And the other one was the person that you see all the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they both have impacts. You know what I'm saying? They both have lives. So it's like
Right.
they both matter. But I feel like because one was greater, quote unquote, right? Because of the things that the way he chose to live his life, the things that he chose to do, to you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's why I'm annoyed that the like something like this is buried in the sports pages.
Yeah.
While, you know, it's like this the whole idea, the concept of Black Lives Matter
Mm-hmm.
it's like you could say the words Black Lives Matter all you want,
Mm-hmm.
but like to truly believe that Black lives do in fact matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like shouldn't you be shining a light on every tragedy,
Exactly.
not just the ones that are the white oppressors versus it's like just because it's a black on black crime,
but that's still
doesn't make it any less of a tragedy.
Exactly, because
you know what I mean.
Black on black crime, it's still, and that's the thing. I think people forget that. Like, we look at it. Oh, the you want to put the ones that are affected by the white man, right? The white police officer did this, or a white person did this, and to the black young man, black woman, whatever. But you need to, like you said, you need to also. But I think you need to also shine light on the black on black crime too, because Black Lives Matter on the black on black crime level too, and it's the same as, because at the end of the day, they both
they're both tragedies.
Yeah, both tragedies. Yeah, so it's like they're both tragedies, and then it's like, so I just and then you could look at it like, okay, they're both tragedies, and then you have the person who, okay, so let's look at the whole Breonna Taylor thing, right? And the cops not being persecuted and stuff like that, tried and stuff like that, right? So everybody like, oh, that's not fair and stuff like that. Amen. It's not fair. Boom. Then you look at the black on black crime, right?
Right.
And is now you have two black lives, right, that are messed up. But we could look at the tragedy, but can you look at it's two tragedies there too? So that's three tragedies right there. But you just, in the sense of Black Lives Matter, that's why I feel like they say Blue Lives Matter, and it's like, yeah, cops do matter, but I can't help that I'm black. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't help that I'm black. They can choose to wear a uniform. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where the thin line is drawn right there, and a lot of people, it's foggy, and a lot of people don't understand it. But I guess it's all how you see things. Me, I'm very like, I think a lot, and I try not to think so much, because I feel like it makes me look like a weirdo, because when I try to explain myself, only few people can really grasp what I'm trying to say. So,
well, I just it's I mean, do you consider yourself an activist at all, or are you really involved in any of the Black Lives Matter or any of these hashtags that are floating around there?
To be honest with you, I'm on a yes, Black Lives Matter, because I'm black. I have black brothers who can easily be affected by this, right? Because different they have different lifestyle to me, right?
Right.
So my lifestyle personally, I'm just the type of person. People will say, "Oh, you don't have a stand." Yes, I do. I'm with you, right? I'm the person that actually is holding you up without being seen. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be seen to fit in with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to Black Lives Matter wear black. This shirt right here, my friend gave me this shirt. But if I'd seen it, and like, I would never bought it if I'd seen it online, because I'm not really into like this type of I don't want people to think that I'm like.
Well, the audience can't see your shirt. It says Black Queen, the most powerful piece in the game, and then it has a chess piece,
yes,
the Black Queen chess piece.
Yes.
Although it's white, but I would imagine
it's
I would imagine that it's a silhouette.
It's on a black shirt.
It's on a black shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but yeah, no. So boom, I believe this is true, right? I don't have to. I do stand firm in my blackness. I do, but I feel like there's a line between being overbearing with stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just don't want to be that person. Like, I don't want to turn into the person that like, I'm better than you, because I'm not. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not better than you, but I do stand in myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that I'm not black. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that I'm not this. Like, yes, I am that, but in the sense of me trying to, I'm better than you and you're less than me. No, I feel like we all
Well,
are
then
people.
again, I think it comes full circle to what we were talking about earlier with social media, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like social media is kind of the problem,
Mm-hmm.
and what's important in the community and what's important in people's lives, because like I said, a tragedy that happened is buried within the sports pages.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I'm reading a huge article about um, them changing brands in the supermarket, like
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Ben and
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Jemima. Now, what's at the end of the day? What's more important? Like figuring out how to stop these tragedies
Mm-hmm.
and shining a light on those, or you know, changing the bottle of syrup that's in your fridge.
Exactly. So it was basically like trying to make things that trying to is I think it's all about a facade or like the picture they want to paint. They want to paint this big picture, yet it has no weight at the bottom of it. Like there's no weight behind it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I would want to see not all the tragedies because me personally, I'm very sympathetic and empathetic. I start crying over the littlest thing. I could see a puppy on Facebook that had mange and was living on the street forever. I'll be sitting there crying. Like you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see negative things all the time. That's why I try not to stay out on social media so much because I feel like everything is on social media, you know. But going back to just that, it's like you don't have to display everything. What holds weight, you should really like this. Okay, so the young man now they didn't post his death on ESP. I'm not ESPN, CNN, right? They didn't post.
But it should have
It
been
should
on.
be,
But I
and I
haven't
think it
watched
should be
ESPN,
too.
so I don't know if it was on ESPN or not. But I'm saying it wasn't on the front page
Yeah,
immediately. It was buried in the sports page.
yeah, and exactly. I don't know if it was on ESPN, but I'm saying like it wasn't. It ain't on CNN or any of that. But he did. This is one person. Even regardless of the lifestyle they were living, but I know he did peak himself to a certain place in his life of where he was a role model to people. Like you know, what I'm saying? I feel like you should give him
Right.
his glory in that. Like if you wanna put it out there for everyone to see, at least show what he did. Like the how he pushed in a place that it wasn't really possibilities for people of his type. Like you know what I'm saying? And he still, you know, even though there's the base like it's like, oh, it's basketball, but he still did something that a lot of people around him didn't press to do. Like you know what I'm saying? So I would say if you're gonna glorify anything, glorify a young man who really beat the odds as much as he could. Like you know what I'm saying? While he
Right.
was still here. Not really glorifying the oh he died, right, but the nasty part of it because it's just like, you know, like even with justice you don't want to, me personally I just don't want to hear all the, because we know racism in around, we know all the systematic stuff that's going on. What do you want? If it was me, if the Breonna Taylor case, everybody wanted justice. All they needed was justice. That's it. They just wanted the cops to be, you know, charged with murder or whatever they want cops to be charged with, right?
Or something,
Or
anything.
something. Just give them something, but you didn't do anything. So now this girl, no one really, like, we only could know her from what her family say. Like, she wasn't really like an activist like Dr. Martin Luther King or anything, but her name, you want to know, we want you to know that we see you. You know what I'm saying? But there's other people like her that died kind of like the same way, but they didn't get the justice that they needed because it wasn't the time of like everything being shown like Facebook and, you know what I'm saying? Because you can easily put something on Facebook and it blows up to a portion because you got, you know what I'm saying, it's access to it, you know. But if it was something like somebody who was in her same bracket like 10 years ago, it probably would never made the news, you know what I'm saying? But now because social media has went up to such a place, like we grab that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a lot of stories circulating on social media that's trying to get the same coverage as she had, like, you know what I'm saying? Or the coverages that get covered, you know, with the injustice or whatever, but they, you know, just ain't break out yet. So it's all, I don't know. It's just me personally, if I would have heard the little young boy, JQ, I would want to hear his story. I want to hear how he beat the odds. I don't want to hear no sadness behind it. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's enough sadness in the world.
And I'm sorry I brought up all this,
Okay.
all this stuff in the news on a comedy podcast, but that murder did take place pretty much right down the street from where we do stand up. So
yeah, it did.
It was something I felt like I wanted to talk about.
And I respect it because it needs to be talked about, you know. But it does. It's like he's going to get his. Sometimes you don't need to be recognized to the platform that at the top to be the top. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He died on a good foot with people.
Just like me and you don't need to be Kevin Hart to be great comedians. Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I have my own measure of success that I want to accomplish. I don't have to die in Kevin Hart's stead. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So kind of go back to what is your drive, basically? Like, do you want to die in Kevin Hart's stead? You can go there, or do you want to die in your own stead? I want to be known for me, not for who I was trying to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's where I'm at.
Well, let's try to end this on a lighter note. I just got an idea.
What?
Well, it's because you want to do the cooking show,
mm-hmm.
and there's all this stuff in the news about the stereotypes of. Let's do a cooking show where we take all the brands that are stereotypes that they're trying to change, and we put them in the cooking show. Mm-hmm. You know, we did take the Land O'Lakes butter and the Uncle Ben's rice and the Aunt Jemima's syrup,
and make a meal.
And we make a meal. Yeah.
So we're gonna get some hot dogs. I'm gonna tell you the perfect meal. Get some hot dogs, right, and get you some baked beans, right.
Okay.
We could get Bush's baked beans.
Yeah.
I'll get a brand of baked beans. And I was just telling somebody about this meal. People call it a struggle meal, but I thought it was pretty good when I was younger.
Right.
We get some. It don't have to be hot dogs. It could be sausage because I really don't like hot dogs. I like kielbasa. So I don't know.
Okay.
And then we could incorporate Uncle Ben's rice. We get some Land O'Lakes butter, and we could stir, like, you know what I'm saying, like saute us some sausages, make some baked beans, put some syrup in the baked beans a little bit, and then you go. You got rice, beans, and sausage.
We gotta call it something really clever though, like the brands that will be no more in the 2020s, or like
you gotta think of what to call it, and then you gotta send me a list of all the brands.
All the brands that are getting the boot.
You could probably make a pretty good meal from it. It all depends on what
well, we know. I know Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben for sure because I was reading an article about those two brands, and they were saying that Aunt Jemima is a mammy character.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
What
them changing the brand?
Because it was basically
because it's supposedly racist. It's a black woman serving her white masters.
To tell you the truth, I honestly I look at it like that is I get it. But why now? Why choose now this whole time people knew. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why choose now to?
It's not going to stop police brutality,
exactly,
too.
Let me not get Aunt Jemima syrup because. No, I'm not gonna get Aunt Jemima. No, I'm still gonna eat Aunt Jemima syrup. First off, I don't even eat her. I eat Great Value. I'm cheap, so I'm El Cheapo. So I like Great Value. But please don't tell me nothing bad about Great Value. It has come in handy when you need $1, when you ain't got $1, But I don't think it's necessary to change anything. Yeah, I get what you're saying is the principle behind it, but who's really thinking that deep for rice or syrup? It's, you know what I'm saying, like. Okay, change the name. You don't even have to change the name. Just take the face off if that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? If it's the face for you, take the face off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the name it stems and it is from someone, but they're gone. They're living. Like what I'm saying, they live their life like they. But if you feel to get some justice for syrup, then go ahead. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like we got bigger fish to fry.
How about the final destination of certain brands' cooking show? No, that's too long.
Or just have a segment, like literally just make a list of things that the brands that are changing, and then just make some recipes that incorporate those brand things or whatever, and then it don't have to be the cooking show itself. It could just be those reused. This is gonna be part 1, part 2, part 3.
I want to make this. I want to make this an online thing that me and you do.
I have something else I want to do, but I'm not sharing on it because I don't want nobody to steal my thing. But I have something that's really, and it's pretty dope.
All right, so you're gonna come back over here. We're gonna make something with Uncle Ben's rice. What do you think?
Where are we gonna do this at, Matt? Where are we gonna do this at, Matt?
Oh, my little stove,
little stove. But hey, Matt, it works for you. Yeah, it works for you. You got the ultimate bachelor pad, and it's clean. So we just gonna thank God that, because I know some men whose house look crazy, honey.
Well, on that note, I thank you for the compliment, and thank you so much for being on the 1000 Comics podcast.
You're welcome. I hope I didn't bore your fans and stuff.
I don't think so. Wait, is there anything you want to plug before we get off?
I just wanted to say again, every first and third Wednesday, 15 Tower Avenue at 7 Dreams, there will be an open mic. It's called The Mic. Come out, bring your friends. If you do poetry, comedy, rap, sing, anything that use a mic, come out and showcase your talent. If it's something that you've been wanting to give a try, you can still come out and do it. Invite people to come and sit and watch with you guys. And just basically be you. Okay? If you listen to me, hear my voice. Be the best you that you can be. Don't try to be nobody else. Be you. Make your life work for you. Don't try and work nobody else's life in your life, because that's where you fall short all the time. When you're trying to be something that you know what I'm saying? Be it. You have the inspiration, but try to do it that works best for you. Okay? So
words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom. If I could leave you a cookie, take that cookie, okay?
Thank you, Quana.
You're welcome.